In New Arden, home of the Inhumans, Tony Stark infiltrates the main complex. His target is Ulysses, the young man with premonitions that got his best friend killed. The Inhuman is afraid of Stark's sudden appearance, but before Tony can act, Medusa strikes. She is able to entangle Tony within her hair. As it breaches Tony's armor, Stark manages to knock her back with a desperate maneuver. She collapses to the floor, so the other Inhumans move in to assist. Karnak is the first to act, but Tony's been thinking about this opponent for some time. The Inhuman's superpower has the ability to detect a weakness within anything. As an engineer, Tony can't help but admire the ability to spot flaws like that. Too bad Stark doesn't have any. Crystal then hurls a lightning blast, but against Iron Man, that's a bad idea. He's able to use this opportunity to escape with Ulysses while the Inhumans gather themselves and take in what just happened. They can't believe he would do this. Tony just declared war on Arden. Elsewhere, the Ultimates reel from this news. They knew Stark was upset, but can't believe how little time it took for him to cause an international incident over this. Maria says they need to go to Stark Tower. Tony wouldn't be stupid enough to go there, but odds are, the Inhumans are already paying it a visit. Indeed, they find them there arguing with Tony's AI, demanding an explanation for the Avengers' actions. The Ultimates try to calm everyone down, but the Inhumans are very upset over this. Carol reminds Medusa that they've all lost people today, and asks her for one chance to make things right. Ulysses wakes up tied to a chair and under the close observation of Tony. Stark is none too friendly, blaming the young man for sending his best friend to his death. Ulysses is confused by this, but Tony doesn't care, and begins hooking the Inhuman up to some electrodes. He's going to thoroughly scan the young man's brain and see these visions for himself. He wants to know just what he's facing, especially because he's pretty sure he's about to go to war with some of his closest friends. Stark begins the procedure and tries to induce a vision but has little success, while he mentions that his friends Jessica Jones and Dakota North are investigating the background of Ulysses. Again, the boy doesn't understand, so Tony explains that he's worried the Inhuman could have some sort of bias. After all, everyone has an angle. Stark himself hates daytime talk shows. Who's to say Ulysses' own biases can't affect his premonitions? The young man admits he never even thought of that, when suddenly, Friday detects a security breach. Stark is surprised that the others were able to track him down so quickly, before he remembers that Beast is helping the Inhumans. That's always kinda seemed really weird to him anyways. Tony hurriedly frees his captive and asks him to pretend that they are having fun, when company arrives. Carol and the others are none too happy about all of this, and though Tony tries to play things off as a harmless misunderstanding, Ulysses dryly comments that he was very much kidnapped and tortured. While Stark and Danvers begin bickering, though both agree that Tony is definitely having a nervous breakdown right now, everyone fails to notice that Ulysses is starting to get a vision. The vision ends and everyone sits in stunned silence. This one wasn't like the others. Everyone saw it. While the heroes are blown away by how real it seems, and they wonder what it means, Ulysses begins crying. He says he's sorry, but the Hulk is going to kill them all. In Utah, Dr. Banner works away quietly. He is pleasantly surprised when he sees Carol paying him a visit. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden and this is my recap and review of Civil War II number 2. Well, alright, this was a pretty fun issue. I did enjoy this, though by and large it seems simply a natural continuation of what was set up in issue 1. If you enjoyed that first issue, you'll probably like this one. Past that, there's nothing too crazy here that rang as game-changing, although I do have to say the comic's ending did surprise me. I like how one of Tony's nightmare scenarios he mentioned during the issue number 1 is actually coming true, and Ulysses did indeed predict the Hulk as the next major threat. This isn't the direct path of escalation of the Civil War I was expecting, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Everything good about issue 1 in terms of art and writing is good here too, and hopefully the trend continues going forward. It's a little surprising, though I did like this comic, it is very short. It's kinda hard to justify the $5 expense, because in classic Brian Michael Bendis fashion, the plot basically moves an inch forward while the rest of the time is focused on character-heavy dialogue. However, any criticism this comic might create seems to slide right off the damn thing like it's waterproof. The first two issues practically demand you ask yourself, when was the last time you had this much fun with a big crossover event? And I find myself having trouble coming up with a single example in the last few years of something this fun and energetic. Which is actually pretty impressive considering Bendis' less than stellar track run in the past with big events like this. I think a big part of this is that David Marquez is such a great artist to work with him. Marquez over Bendis is probably why I like this comic so much, and I think the reason for this is that the way Bendis writes depends heavily on you understanding what his characters are thinking and feeling throughout the story. Mixed in with the blockbuster style simple action that deliberately resonates itself, and Marquez seems like the perfect guy for bringing both of these aspects to Bendis' writing to life. The Hulk scene is a good example of that. It's just the sort of raw power that Bendis is all too often good at pitting superheroes against. It reminds me of how I used to depict the Green Goblin in Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and I'm left looking forward rather eagerly to seeing what happens with Hulk next issue. Banner has been quietly in the background of the Marvel world ever since Secret Wars, so I'm really curious about what happens next. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.